Okay, take 42. I'm actually very excited about this. I hope this works out. 2 weeks ago, I told the London closurians that there was no way on earth that we could do what I'm about to try to do, which is give you a very good feel for what it's like, the matrix experience, without you actually doing any coding, just by watching. So let's see what happens. This happened because I was working on this little guy over here, the Flutter text-to-speech demo app. And
Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world.
okay, so what just happened there? I tapped on India and I was able to hear that right away. Ireland.
Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world.
Anarchy is interesting.
Mere
France.
anarchy is loosed upon the world.
Okay, let's go back to English.
Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world.
Mere anarchy is
Oh,
loosed
so
upon
I'm
the
sorry.
world.
You see, I like exploring and I like being able to do it just by clicking. And the demo that they produced had a pull-down menu. You pick a new language, you release, the menu, and then you press play. And I said, let me make that a little bit slicker because I want to explore all the different languages really quickly. So that was the RFE, if you will. Well, no, that wasn't the RFE. The RFE came up because as I was playing with it, I just happened to get puzzled by the play button and the pause button. And I said, and I don't even remember what the issue was, but I do remember that at a certain point I realized if I only had one of the two, I wouldn't have a problem. And then it occurred to me, why are we showing the play and the pause button at the same time? Only one can make sense. And along the same lines, I next wondered, why are we showing the stop button when nothing is playing? Maybe it's supposed to correspond to the physical controls of a device. That would make sense. But we're doing software, we can make it dynamic. We can call it responsive design. I think that's what it's called. So let's get on with it. Let's get on with the task. And the first thing we can do, which is a little easier, is hide the stop button. And all we're going to do is wrap that in opacity. But straight away, we're going to get into the need for a rule. I'm wondering why I didn't get the closing brace on that, but anyway. So what is the rule going to be for our opacity? Well, what did I just say? I said we don't want to show it if we're not playing. So if we're off, all right, we're going to wrap this in a formula. Okay, if equals off, you're probably wondering what I'm going to compare it to. I don't know yet. Something, then 0. So if we're off, then we want the opacity of the control to be 0. That will mean it does not appear. Great. And what are we going to look for? Well, now we need some dynamic state, some dynamic reactive state, because I just wrote a formula and I want to run and run again when circumstances change. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to create a new property, and we'll call it the play status. Okay, and let's say it is off. Well, let's we have to wrap it in an input cell because we're going to be letting the user change that, and it's not anything the application decides, it's what the user decides. So now we've got our state, allegedly, and we can say if equals off. And now this is scary. Here's my Lisp influence. If maprop place it. Now, what is maprop? It says search up the hierarchy looking for a property called play status. I know that sounds scary. It's not. You don't have to use this. There are other ways of finding the properties. There's an awful lot on navigation we could talk about another time. But let's see what we have so far. And this is perhaps the first compile. You know, I think what I just did was clear out the Xcode cache because I was killing my disk drive. And okay, so now the stop button does not appear. And we can do a real quick sanity check. Make sure we didn't just completely break it. Yeah, it is really slow. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so it's on. Now, so that works. We're going to put it back to off. And I could press play right now. But we would see is
Mere
that,
anarchy is loosed upon the world.
well, wow. So it didn't appear. Why? Because all we did was press play. Nothing told this play status to turn to on. And which brings us to a really wonderful point in this presentation, which is the idea that you're going to see that Matrix is pretty cool, I think. And not only is it cool, but we can connect it to software that doesn't know about Matrix, including Flutter TTS. Now you might say, we're going to connect Flutter TTS? Yeah, we're going to write a little bit of glue code just to make this happen because we love reactivity. We love having the quality that comes from things executed automatically. We love the declarative paradigm. And what we're going to do here is use a little internal wizardry to make sure that the bindings, the dynamic variables that control Matrix are cleaned out. And we could actually look at that if you get curious. And now with MX isolation, we're going to say, so now I can't use MA prop. I have to search for the thing. Did I call it? I don't think I gave it a name. All right, well, we'll go down and we'll fix that. And we're going to say the play status to on. Now, by the way, if I run this code without fixing that, we'll get a lovely error saying, you know, I just couldn't find anything named dash. Oh, there's something else we should talk about. I mean, fix. All right, so here's where we created the play status. Now, I mentioned that in the talk that the database, the application becomes its own database. And here I am labeling this structure where the play status will be found. So now there might be a lot of play status properties. Well, there won't be a lot of properties like that out there. So so now I've created the name dash. That'll work. I'm going to take a break here to do something I forgot to mention. We're going to be, now that we're decided to make the widgets dynamic, we have to help out Flutter, let it know when we are creating the same thing. Otherwise, it will really do unintuitive things with widgets behind the scenes, and you'll end up looking at the most bizarre errors because what it has done is you've created a new widget, or what you meant to be the same widget, it sees another one that it could use, it uses the old one, the changes you made, it's just, the wheels come off, and there's really no sign that it's happening. So now we've put the value key on there. We're just going to use the label as a random thing that will be unique for the different buttons down there. And we can save it. And, oh, so far no bugs. Okay, so let's try this.
Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world.
Fantastic. Now, you know, you might be saying, hey, Ken, there's a problem here. Yeah, right. The stop button didn't go away. And that's because we're still creating our glue to connect Flutter text-to-speech to the matrix. And this is, like, did I mention that we call this wrapping? And also gluing. Whoops. And I happen to know there are, I think that's enough. Oh, and I wasn't going to show you that. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, set completion handler. There are a bunch of other handlers, but let's do them one at a time. Set completion handler. Now, completion means we be off. All right, bam. Okay, and whoa, look at that, it picked it up already. Now,
Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world.
boom, isn't reactive programming a blast? Okay, so now we can go ahead and jump to the chase here and create the other ones, which are paused, continue, and cancel. I think cancel, I couldn't get cancel to run once, so I played around trying to trigger it, but I'm guessing off would be the state that we take on when canceled. And now pause, set pause handler, and we'll say paused. And there's one more, the continue handler, when you're continuing from pause. And then we're just back down. We could do resumed or continued or something like that, but we don't need that for our purposes, so we'll just keep it simple. And let's see what I've done so far. Okay. All right, still works, and we're not going to see anything new. We can check.
Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world.
Okay, so now what we want to do is collapse the play and the pause buttons together. And so what we're going to do is use the almighty if statement. If, and we can probably borrow this. Now I'm just going to grab this because we're going to use a sum. If sum, and wrap it in a set. Yeah, well, it doesn't give me the second brace. If sum, now when do I show play? Well, if we're off, and actually if we are paused, that's where we're going to jump back to play. All right. If play status is off or paused, then we okay. Well, let's see. Easy enough to find out. And what do we get? Okay. Oh, so now we don't have our pause button as planned.
Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. Mere anarchy is loosed
I'm
upon
sorry.
the world.
So maybe we could use a little bit more text to give us a chance to play around with the controls. And let's grab that whole stanza, save that, and make sure it shows up over here. It is definitely slower since I cleared the caches.
In the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer.
Yeah. Okay, so we stop, and now we go to the play, right? So
the center cannot hold.
Okay, so it picks up where it left off, and now we can actually stop it all together, and now we just have the play button.
Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon.
Okay, so I think we have implemented everything. Let me see if check my notes here. So you've basically just seen Matrix. What did we do? We started by hiding the, we wanted to hide the stop button, but we had to create some reactive state to do that. Not a problem. We created it right here. This is what I call managing state in place. I don't want to put this off in a secondary store, although that was a plausible idea. I think it leads to a lot of work. You know about the boilerplate. And actually, you don't get the locality of reference. I call this the heads-up display. I got everything right in front of me. And this is right in front of me, but back up here where I have these handlers being set up, now I'm able to reach out to something named dash and toggle that property. And again, that strikes a lot of folks as alarming, like, oh, that's like your action at a distance. It works. We've seen the algebra application. It's huge. This thing scales. And it scales because there is a natural scoping. And this is a very simple case. I mean, there's only one dash. There's only one property called play status. So it's pretty easy to make work. But the nice thing is that these rules are so small that this is going to scale, and I can look at it and reason about it. I can understand my code very easily just because I'm not writing all that much code. I'm just working on one little property. What does the cancel handler do? It sets the play status off, etc., etc. So we've got the property size logic. We oh, this is neat. What was I doing down here? The opacity, which is a Flutter property, got its own rule. Now, Flutter doesn't know about rules, but matrix, it runs the rule, it comes up with the value, and it triggers the set state to get the widget redrawn. We do play well with Flutter behind the scenes using set state as that's how, when in Rome, do as Romans. So the set state will run and it gets redrawn, and that's part of why we wanted this play status down here, nice and close to the widget, because if you make it any higher, well, I want to here's a little something to show off. Well, we'll do that another time. Okay, so we navigate. We've shown property logic. We've shown in-place state management. We've seen that it applies to Flutter properties, and away we go. I hope you liked it.